I have no idea who those crazy people were at the beginning of that, but we are live everywhere. Hello, welcome to the StreamAlive show. Lux, what are we talking about today?
All right. Wow, that was a pretty funky initial thing. I see you animated all of us, made us say stuff that we never actually said. See, you've been having a lot of fun, I can see, Neil.
Definitely. We do. You do look a bit angry, Saeed, but that's because you're on this show. That's why you're angry, I guess.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Wow. Always nice to hang out with you folks. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for yet another edition. We are in week 5, if memory serves me right, but hey, who's counting? And what are we talking about today? This week we're talking about slides. We're talking about slides in all shapes and sizes. I can see the joy on Saeed's face when I said the word slides. Oh yes, there it is. There it is again. So angry Saeed. PowerPoint slides, Gamma slides, Google slides, Prezi, everything in between. Slides, slides, slides. So you've been warned, and I think we can actually have a lot of fun with PowerPoint slides and all other forms of slides. But hey, that's what I was hoping we'd talk about. And Neil, entirely up to you. I know we all love going off script, but I was thrilled to see the new thing that you announced on LinkedIn today, which is with the whole captions thing. So hey, why do one demo when you can do 2? So I'm hoping we can see a bit of that as well. What you've been cooking. So lots of stuff to talk about.
No problem. No problem. Well, let's get on to the fun word with slides first. I guess whatever you wanted to show us. Did you want to go straight into a demo, or do you want to just tee us up with what you're planning to do first of all?
Yeah. So maybe I'll give it a bit of context, and I'm pretty sure all of us have our own little slide stories. Personally, for me, I think I joke with people that I've been presenting for a living all my life, and it's not far from the truth, because my first job way back in '95 in Mumbai, we used to call it Bombay at that time, was with a company called the Amitabh Bachchan Corporation Limited. And for those of you who don't know about Amitabh Bachchan, take Tom Cruise, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Angelina Jolie, Idris Elba, and combine their fan followings and multiply by 10, and you probably have Amitabh Bachchan's fan following.
Wow.
But for no small measure, because we have a pretty big population in India, but he is India's most famous actor, has been for decades, continues to endure. And Amitabh Bachchan was my first boss. So I worked for him in the 90s. And I didn't end up just applying for a job there. He started a new company, which was all the rage in India. And me and a couple of friends had started this event marketing startup. And the first pitch we sent was to the Amitabh Bachchan Corporation. And they called us over and said, tell us what you have in mind. And to tell them what we had in mind, I was about to do it with these overhead transparencies, and a friend of mine said, don't be ancient. There's this new app called PowerPoint. And over the weekend, he introduced me to PowerPoint, got me started with my first ever PowerPoint deck, and I made that pitch, and at the end of it, we all had job offers instead of business offers, but they made us an offer we could not refuse, so we ended up joining. So PowerPoint got me my first job. And funnily enough, I've been talking about PowerPoint integrations all of this year for StreamAlive. So it's kind of funny how things come full circle. So I'm going to queue up a demo, just pull up things, but would love to know if any of you have any PowerPoint or slides or any other presentation stories of your own too.
I just think the story would have been much better with slides.
Saeed, are you actually asking me to show you slides? I think we have this recorded. I'm glad.
Yeah, we have it recorded.
Well, I was just say, as a university professor, I taught classes where we're teaching people how to make presentations. So I have lots of feelings. The death by PowerPoint. All I can say is, when you're talking about slides, it's a very slippery slope you're on.
Yeah, I don't have any sort of stories around PowerPoint, but Lux did turn me on to the PowerPoint book that is in my Kindle that I started reading, all about the history of PowerPoint. I love to understand about the history of things. I was reading the history of Twitter the other day, so that's also in my list as well. So thanks, Lux. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but all the things you wanted to know about the history of PowerPoint in in 85,000 easy pages, something like that. So it's really cool. But don't have any sort of crazy stories about PowerPoint. When did you actually start using? Have you actually used PowerPoint, Saeed? Are you a PowerPoint user or? Yeah.
I have been a PowerPoint fan, and I'm not irony, because there is so much you can do with it, but it's just a different era now, right? I mean, I know, like, let's say 6-7 years ago, in the corporate world, there haven't been like a lot of alternatives that you can use if you want to present something or if you want to build something. And for me, it was always a nice thing to figure out what else can I do with it. And if you figure out, for example, I forgot all the terms and how it works, but if you figure out how the transitions work, right, there are like different ones, not just like the standard templates, and there's also like the jump to buttons. Okay, if I click here, I jump to this slide, and if I click on this, I go back to something else. And there are so many things you can do with just these two features. For example, I remember like creating something like a Jeopardy game, in a way every answer is like linked to a different slide somewhere, and then it also reveals like the number of points, and there's a leaderboard and all the other things, all created like with a 500-page deck of PowerPoint, and you can be very, very creative. Nowadays, everything is a prompt, right? So it's not as fun anymore to do these small things, because there's so many alternatives, and you don't have to try to figure out like workarounds, because there is already a real solution for most things. So the tool itself is awesome. Just sitting through a PowerPoint presentation for 90 minutes, where somebody reads out like the thing like point by point. That's it doesn't have to be. It could be anything. That's more of the trouble, not the tool itself.
Well, I thought it was interesting that, Lex, you talked about how you were going to do overhead transparencies. And back to a little history, the overhead transparencies really came from scoreboards for bowling alleys. But one of the things that you missed when you went to PowerPoints and projectors is with the overhead device, it was sitting in front of you, so you had to be looking at your audience. The transparency film didn't have great resolution, so your fonts had to be larger. So the moving from overhead to PowerPoint slides was a step back for me in terms of what I thought my creativity, although transparencies were pretty miserable, because if you wanted colors on them, you had to make 4 sheets and flip them over, and it was crazy. But we still need to get people to look at the audience when they're doing their presentations and not read from the screen.
That's right.
My favorites, by the way, is if you do like a PowerPoint presentation with a beamer, right, so like on a wall, please always stand in the middle of the presentation. I mean, just best practice. Don't move to the side or anything. Just stand in the middle of the line. Exactly. Be part of the presentation. I've seen this so many. Just, I don't know. You just look like camouflage, like morphed into your own presentation. That's how much you like what you created. I don't know what the point of that is.
Isn't that where the term? Isn't that where the term immersive presentation came from? I'm just saying. Anyway, probably. Yeah, probably. Good point, Saeed. Anyway, Lux, sorry. Yes, you started something now, didn't you? You mentioned the P word, and here we are, PowerPoint crazy.
Oh, yes. Neil, if it's okay, I'd love to share my screen and just share a bit of the evolution. There we are. Perfect. Gosh. Okay. So, all of you are StreamAlive regulars, and you probably see something different which was pushed this weekend and actually revised today. If you see, the home screen is changed a fair bit. It has a PowerPoint logo, a Gamma logo, and a Canva logo. And hey, fun thing, by the way, it talks about see StreamAlive live, and if you click on see what's live, it's going to take you to a different page which talks about slides that talk back. And here we are interacting with this session itself. So I'm living what Saeed just said in terms of being a part of it. I digress. Let's go back here. So with a StreamAlive presentation, and for those not familiar, I mean, a StreamAlive presentation is authored by the audience, because what the audience types in the chat becomes a part of the slide. So it's literally what Saeed and Neil said a little while back, except you're now standing in front of the slide and in front of the big light that's beaming onto the wall. The audience is typing in the chat and their responses, and we'll do a bit of that, become a part of the slide. And the way I describe what StreamAlive does is that, hey, we've had PowerPoint since 1987. And ever since then, we've been going talk, 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 talk as we go slide, 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 slide. And that's a monologue. What we're trying to do is make it talk, listen, which is a dialogue. So make a presentation, a conversation. And for that, we have all the StreamAlive interactions, as you folks know. So I'm just going to pull something here. I have a presentation on an intro to home brewing, because why not? That's what someone wanted to test very, very recently. And if I had a bunch of slides on beers, I could just import my PDF in here with StreamAlive and bring them in between my interactive slides. Turns out this was the biggest pain point for people. So a lot of people still do this. I know some of us in this room do it. I personally love to do this because it allows me to do everything in the web interface, bring my static slides in. But we got a lot of feedback from people saying, instead of getting my slides, my talking slides into StreamAlive, can I get StreamAlive into my talking slides, which more often than not is PowerPoint, right? So that's kind of what we've focused on a lot over the last few months. And it started off with PowerPoint. It's evolved a lot since then. So all of these three platforms are ones that we support right now: PowerPoint, Gamma, and Canva. So just to kind of jump into the end result, I'm going to switch tabs to this document, which I've been sharing around. Last week, we talked about how to close a session memorably, right? We talked about different things that we do at the end of a session. So we actually created a little resource on interesting questions that you can ask at the end of a session to close it on an interactive note. And depending on which way you swing, you could get that inside of PowerPoint, you could get that inside of Gamma, you could get that inside of Canva. So for example, the PowerPoint version, I'm just going to switch tabs here and open the PowerPoint one. It looks like any PowerPoint slide, and I've got my talking slides here. But if I wanted to have a reflection or a takeaway, like, I don't even know what this reflection or takeaway is. It's going to come up in a second. Oh, I think I connected it somewhere a little while back. I'm going to disconnect now so we can run it here. Let's disconnect it here. I think I went a little ahead of myself, but this is what my slide would look like. It's waiting to be populated by what the audience says on anything that has chat. So whether that's Zoom, which is where we use most often, or whether that's Microsoft Teams or YouTube or in person, where you create a virtual chat or any of these platforms. The common thing to all of them is Twitch, Restream, StreamYard, LinkedIn Live. They all have chat. So let's actually, if you folks are okay, we'll just test it out with the Zoom chat, because I know that works perfectly. And then we'll live a little dangerously down the line and test it out with Restream or LinkedIn Live and see what happens. Does that work?
Of course. Go ahead.
Let's try it with Zoom. So I am going to enter the URL of this Zoom meeting.
And what's different, just while you're doing that, what people are actually seeing is the fact that you are initiating a StreamAlive session inside of the PowerPoint deck, as opposed to going out and coming in and so on. So that's the beauty of the new integration that you've done, whereby it's just really easy now to just get these comments and audience reactions straight into your PowerPoint deck without having to, well, get out any transparent film and a projector, and also be not going to different places and so on, which is great.
Absolutely. Thank you. I couldn't have summarized it better. So everything living inside PowerPoint. And for the first time, a PowerPoint slide is authored by the audience. And there is, I'm assuming that is John saying, hi, Monterey Bay. But
yeah, with two A's because I can't spell. But other than that.
And it is not the response to how you would summarize today's session, but totally works, John. Oh, by the way, Neil, Saeed, I don't know if we've shown you these new interactions on the word cloud. We've got all these different display styles for the word cloud now. I know Saeed is not a fan of scattered, and so I am going to do scattered, of course.
Oh, I see.
Look, this just trips me off. Diagonal words on a word count is just, it's creepy. I'm just saying.
I knew I'd
There
get
are,
it.
there, are, there are rules we agreed on as a society and everything else. I mean, we are not savages, so
Yeah, what is happening here right now? So,
So,
But
Neil,
but
was that
I
you saying
think
great session?
I just going to say I think we really need to point out what Neil just said about how you were in PowerPoint within the app, you were loading it because in the corporate world we're death by PowerPoint, but the world lives by decks. And my daughter's a VC, and she gets deck after deck after deck. But most of the people just know how to advance a slide, and the thought of trying to integrate it with Zoom would be a challenge. But this is great to be able to, somebody who at least knows how to open PowerPoint and run it can now get that going and pick their Zoom chat to get into it. So I've had a number of people I'm working with who I've held back on pushing as hard because I knew that it would be a challenge within their organization. And now that's taken that barrier away.
Thank you, John. And that's exactly the idea, right? Take those barriers away for presenters by making it work inside the environment, because PowerPoint is here to stay. People are still using it. And I wrote an email to Robert Gaskins, the gent who invented PowerPoint, when we built this add-in first. And while I could not demo it to him, he wrote back a very interesting line saying he's been surprised with how enduring PowerPoint has been, because it's not changed much from the first version that, what is it called? Forethought, the company that made it first in 1987. Their first version and this is not very, very different from each other. But I think it's a big change if suddenly this is a surface for conversation and a slide is suddenly now listening to the audience and it's
Yeah,
powered by
the original name of PowerPoint was Presenter. That seems to be appropriate.
Yes.
And then it became PowerPoint in '87, as you mentioned.
Fun fact, do you know who PowerPoint's first VC investor was?
ooh, I should know this, having read the book, but I can't remember. Go ahead. Surprises.
You're going to be absolutely surprised with the answer. It's, I'm waiting to see if anyone answers. It's Apple.
I was about to guess. Oh, I was about to guess Pepsi Cola, for no reason. But I was thinking about the Pepsi CEO who took over
Oh, yes.
Apple
right.
back in
Cully,
the day.
right?
That's why.
So it was
Yeah,
Apple.
exactly.
Interesting.
It was Apple. I mean, Apple's first corporate VC investment was in PowerPoint, in the company that made Presenter, which was, I think, Forethought was the name of the company. And then Forethought got acquired by Microsoft, and Apple made a return on their first VC investment from Microsoft. So pretty interesting, actually.
And Saeed's asking, what is a 1987? It's a year in time that you, that maybe
was
you
3
weren't
years
around
old
for
back
that.
then.
You were 3 years. Oh, well, you were born. Well, there you go.
I was, yeah, but not around enough for these topics.
Eden says, was it Bill Gates? Close, but no. He's been responsible for many other things that we should not talk about. But it was indeed not Bill Gates. But that's interesting. But you're right. Just real quick to your point, Lux, that PowerPoint really hasn't changed dramatically over the years. It's still a deck of cards, effectively, sequentially run from top to bottom, pretty much. And the usual mistakes are always there, right, with people. Like, can you see my slides? Or am I running it full screen? Or all that kind of stuff. And I've seen many PowerPoint decks actually being run where you see all the speaker notes and it's not run full screen and all those kinds of things. And have we not learned over the last sort of 20 odd years? But maybe not. I don't know.
But there are also certain things that are not PowerPoint specific. I mean, I was joking earlier, but it's also like a fact. If you have like one slide that has more content than all 3 books of the Lord of the Rings, yeah, then you're doing it wrong. I mean, it should kind of support your message, and people should not be like reading it or trying hard to read whatever is on the slide. If you have 300 words in 12-point font size, I don't know what you need like the presentation for.
Exactly.
and other small like detailed end if it looks like it's like 1997. Yes, there are animations and stuff, but just because they are there, you don't have to use all of them. I mean, leave a few for the rest of us. When everything is blinking, like website from the 90s, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, Annie's saying, "LOL, did you see my slides?" It's a common thing. Yeah, and can you see my screen? Yeah, it's all trademarked now under Saeed's new merch account, which you should put a link in the chat.
Along
at
with a
some point.
T-shirt that says, "Am I on mute?"
Exactly.
Oh, yes. I think that's the most common sentence in meetings, right? You're on mute, and probably the second common one is, "Can you see my slides?" Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it is interesting. It's not really urban legend. A lot of the live conferences that had large screens for major events, the deck was made in PowerPoint and then converted to Keynote, so it ran better and performed better in widescreen and extra effects. So,
Goodness.
And speaking of Keynote, when we built the PowerPoint add-in, sure enough, the moment we built it, we had people asking us, "Can this work on Keynote?" And unfortunate answer is no, it can't. Simply because, unlike PowerPoint, Keynote does not have an app ecosystem that allows you to do things like this. So we couldn't make it work in Keynote. But Gamma and Canva are fantastic because they're both browser-based solutions, right? So with Gamma, for example, it's brilliant. It just runs inside of Gamma. You can embed an interaction in there. So you just copy it from StreamAlive, paste it inside there, and it just works off the cuff, which is just amazing. Ironically, it doesn't work with Google Slides because, believe it or not, Google Slides, despite pioneering online slides and browser-based presentations, and of course, a lot of things are with the internet, don't allow for embeds or iframes inside slides. So you can't do it inside of Google Slides, but you can do it inside of Gamma. You can do it inside of Canva. So we're still trying to figure out how we embrace other ecosystems. And Canva is, after PowerPoint, Canva is the number 2 platform on which people are using it, because suddenly you can have your talking slides in Canva like you always did, and then add in interactions in the middle, like these over here. I'm not logged in right now on Canva, but you can see what it looks like with a simulation. Pretty excited about this because it transforms how presentations are done.
I'm wondering, since you mentioned Canva, I know you can do the same in PowerPoint. If I remember correctly, you can export like a whole slide deck as a PDF or as separate PNGs. Will the results be exported to what will it look like with all the StreamAlive interactions?
Unfortunately, not with the results, because the results are still being captured in the StreamAlive backend, and they're not persistent post-session. So after a session is over, what happens is the assumption here is that once you created a deck, you want to run it tomorrow in another environment. So it goes back to the original state saying, hey, today you connected to Zoom. Where do you want to connect next, right? Do you want to connect to, because I might run the same presentation on LinkedIn Live, for example. I've never tested on LinkedIn Live. Should we try it?
Why not? Let's live dangerously. We are live right now onto multiple places, so why not? I'll go back to Forup while you're getting that set up in case, we don't want to expose any of your credentials and things like that.
Let's see what happens.
So
if you did this as a Zoom call, then presumably you have that recording, so you'd be able to capture the interactions. And then the StreamAlive does a very good job of keeping that data and being able to analyze it post-event. But yeah, I do see that you could, lots of times people say, can I have that deck? If you sent them the deck, it wouldn't have the quote interactions that they had. But you could send them a little video clip.
Yeah, you could. You could, definitely. So what was interesting you mentioned, Lux, is that so Canva is the number 2 PowerPoint, presentation tool now, second only to PowerPoint.
Among the StreamAlive audience, yes.
Right.
I would suspect Google Slides is probably ahead because of how much they've been embraced by education. But among the StreamAlive audience, when I run sessions and webinars and ask people this question, PowerPoint is number 1. And actually, I think I should be able to pull up something on that we did for Training Magazine recently. So this was with trainers, and I'm just going to.
And it is interesting. I think, isn't it 85% of presentations in the world are still run on PowerPoint, which is surprising, but I guess not surprising considering it's been around for so long. And it's interesting that people still use PowerPoint online and the actual PowerPoint application as well.
But isn't it also like the thing where, it's the same with Microsoft Teams and others, it comes pre-installed. I mean, especially in corporates. I mean, you have it installed already, right? You have the whole business thing. So there's often not a lot of tool choice if you get forced to have it on your system. Or right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how you can make your numbers look beautiful. So yeah, like trillions of people use it now. Trillions of people have just installed it first.
Yes, if you ask Microsoft, if you ask Microsoft, they say it holds 89% of the market share.
Exactly. We do,
but we could say the market share of good presentations. Let's go to that, and I think the numbers may shift.
Yeah. Maybe that's another session for us. What makes a good presentation? Maybe that's a good topic for a future show. There's a question here, I think. Does it work well in physical meetings? And I guess you're referring to the StreamAlive component. And Lux can probably take this question, but absolutely.
Yep. Yes, and Neil, if you don't mind pulling my screen again, I'll just show something for Anna's question.
Sure.
And for that, I'm going to disconnect from the LinkedIn thing. It doesn't look like it's. I mean, we're doing something with the Chrome extension that connects to LinkedIn. We'll save that for a future demo. But to Anna's question, when I ask it to join a live session, it could be Zoom, Teams, YouTube. It can also be in person. And just to stretch that, it could also be hybrid, where it could be Zoom plus in person. So if I was running an in-person session, in that case, it would run with a QR code mechanism, which is the only instance where we advocate people using a QR code. Our philosophy is have people on one device. So if they are in person, let them use their phones. But if they are on a Zoom meeting, I mean, don't do yourself a disservice by sending them to your phones, because good luck with bringing them back. I mean, this is a weapon of mass distraction, so you don't want that to happen. Right? I love that term.
That is a great term. And whilst you're there, we have a question from Shaka, who's joined from my channel. So thanks, Shaka. He's just basically saying, what is StreamAlive? He's new to the show, and I don't think he's been familiarized with StreamAlive. I don't know whether you could give him your elevator pitch. At least just to let him know exactly what StreamAlive is in 3,000 words or less, Lux.
Okay, the rest of the stream is going to be dedicated to this. So thank you for the question. I'm going to answer it, and then Neil is going to, as he often does, summarize probably and say it in a much more eloquent way than I ever could. But I will go with the first shot. So I'm a co-founder at StreamAlive, and we are an audience engagement platform. And the whole idea is, we want to stop one-way presentations. And how do you stop one-way presentations? It's if you're presenting to one person, it's fine. But if you're presenting to, say, 10 people or 100 people, how do you unmute an audience of 10, 100, or 1,000 people? Simple, make the chat stream alive. So we help you make the chat stream, whether that's on Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or even in person, where we create a virtual WhatsApp-like chat stream. And we make that alive, so it gives the audience a visual voice, which is not unlike asking an audience, "Hey guys, raise your hands if you agree with me," and then you eyeball the audience and get a visual sense of what they're saying. We're doing the same thing, but with text that the audience types in chat. So that way, a presentation becomes a conversation. A presenter is going from a talking slide, like we've been doing here, to a listening slide, which is simply powered by what the audience is saying. I mean, this is a simulation running right now where the audience is typing stuff in the chat. That could be Zoom chat, Teams chat, and StreamAlive brings that alive, so to speak. So a presentation becomes a presenter going talk, listen, essentially having a conversation at scale, whether it's 10, 100, or 1,000 people in the room.
And thank you for that. And how we've been using it effectively is not in PowerPoint presentations. How I use it is typically bringing StreamAlive in as an overlay into my eCam presentation, or it could be OBS or anything else. I'm visualizing those audience interactions directly. So with word clouds or the globe, showing people where they are and stuff. It's a very interactive way of bringing the audience in, and Lux has shown some examples already in there. So if you want to check it out, you can just go to StreamAlive.com and you can see exactly how it all hangs together, but it's compatible with any platform that you want, and so many people are using it right now. So thanks for that, Lux.
I could give my elevator pitch.
Go ahead, John.
Little here, yeah.
Please.
Because when I'm talking to people, they're making presentations, and the goal is to engage your audience. So StreamAlive helps you connect because it becomes interactive. It includes your audience, so it's not you and they, but it's us, and then they're engaged. And luckily, Lux has a T-shirt that says all that.
Look at that.
And
Excellent. I feel left out, actually, because we don't have the same T-shirts, Saeed, but there you go. Anne says, thank you for explaining. I'm happy to find you and listening from Uganda. All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
And it's actually, it's connect, interact, ask them if they can see your screen. And then what was the last one? Engage.
Hey, speaking of it, Saeed, I thought you had a deadline of today to release a new T-shirt saying, "Can you see my stream?" Where are you with that?
I'm working on it. I have a presentation about the process of this project. If you want to see it, it's only 300 slides. No,
Perfect.
But I'm working on everything right now while you are talking.
Work it right, and that's how to keep the audience engaged, by working on other projects whilst we're talking.
Exactly.
Eden says she's definitely tune in for a show on what makes a good presentation. I think we would all like to tune in for that. So yeah, we should get our thinking caps on and put something together to give maybe a tip each on what makes a good presentation. And on the flip side of that, what also makes a terrible presentation. I think we can all comment on that, right?
Absolutely. And Neil, I was just about to also pull up, if it's okay, the statistics from a session I did last month, where I had
Absolutely.
about 205 trainers in the room. And I think it's linked to Saeed's question on, does it capture the end results? It doesn't, but StreamAlive has those results separately. So I thought I'll just show that very quickly. There were some interesting insights there. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. We also got a couple of questions that you can answer as well at the end of this. So go ahead, Lux.
Okay, so I've got my slides up. And so this is the presentation I actually took people through. And don't worry, I'm not going to take you through it right now because it's only 42 slides long. But the way I started is, hey, the bad news is I've got 42 slides. The good news is I'm only going to be speaking on 25 of those slides. You're going to be speaking in the remaining 17, right from asking people where they're joining from to, asking them questions around what kind of sessions they run, what they do for a living, and all of it. But I'm just going to jump here and show you what kind of responses we got. First of all, this is the actual statistics from that session. It's called the Textrovert Effect. I did it for Training Magazine last month. We had 2,249 comments by 225 people. I'd love to take credit for that, saying it's because I'm a good presenter or something, but honestly, the reason is because when you acknowledge people and not ignore them, and when their responses actually matter, when they see that they are seen, heard, acknowledged, I mean, no surprises, they participate more, right? When I'm asked where you're joining from, I don't really type in the chat because, hey, you don't care anyway. But when I see that it's going to translate into a dot on the presenter's map, I almost feel obligated to say New Jersey because otherwise it's looking very naked on the presenter's screen right now. So we had people participating like crazy. I'm just going to jump in and show you a couple of things related to what we talked about on which platform. So these are a lot of corporate training. So obviously a lot of Teams over there and a lot of Zoom. So Teams and Zoom, again, no surprises, the two platforms on which people wanted to use presentations the most. And then there was a question on which platform. And Neil, this is the question you were asking earlier. This is what we got from a trainer ecosystem. PowerPoint, 60%, Canva, 23%. And I was pretty surprised at the fact that yes, it's 1/3, but it's a pretty significant number there, followed by Google Slides, followed by Gamma, followed by Keynote, and so on.
Interesting.
It's not surprising to me that it's heavily towards PowerPoint. Acuity Training did a report, and I thought that was interesting because they say, and this report was just last year, in the UK, they say 37% of the people over age 16 have used PowerPoint, where between the ages of 16 to 24 in the UK, 83% of the population has used PowerPoint. So in that corporate training space, that's where it's got a sweet spot.
And 1 in 3 toddlers.
It's interesting though, because to Saeed's point, you know, that nobody's going to get fired for buying Microsoft unless you're a Google house, of course. And obviously all this software does get bundled in the Microsoft suite. So it's almost like it's a no-brainer to use it. Why would you go to somewhere else? But yeah, and I guess that accounts for the 83% of or 85% of people still using it.
But what I like about what StreamAlive is doing, because it's going to PowerPoint, it's going to Canva, it's expanding the tools that are out there. Because I think the newer people coming in, you know, if you think of the growth of Canva in the short period it's been here compared to the years since 87, you have Microsoft. That's an amazing growth in a new system. And I think AI is going to push it even further along, that more things are going to be done in cloud. A lot of the presentations can be assisted and helped. We live in a very interesting time when it comes to what tools you use to create presentations. I have some friends who aren't using any of them. They're actually letting Claude and their agents make their presentations, and they're doing it at the base code level.
Times are changing. Oh, sorry, Lux, I thought you were still going to share something. There was a couple of questions, if you don't mind trying to tackle them. The first one is, how do you use it through LinkedIn Live? I know you were just talking about that before. So what sort of, in terms of best practice, in terms of using it? I mean, just from my side, LinkedIn Live doesn't provide any encoder out of the box. So it's not like you're using something like Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that, or Restream, for example. So you have to use a third-party encoder to do that. So Lux, in terms of best practice, what have you found works well with LinkedIn in your experience?
Yeah, so and the challenges with LinkedIn are everything that you so accurately mentioned, Neil. And I find it very, very funny that we did this as an experiment. I think I shared this with you guys, where we had our entire team come on to a LinkedIn Live session. So first of all, one issue with LinkedIn Live is that unlike YouTube, which allows you to do an unlisted stream, if you're trying to experiment with anything on LinkedIn, it has to be a live thing that the whole world is going to see. So you know, I had Saeed once or twice ping me some months ago saying, "Do you know you're live?" And it's like, one or two instances I didn't, but sometimes you're testing stuff and you're putting it out there, right? So we did a few LinkedIn Live sessions, and here's a funny thing we observed: each person in our team who was watching that LinkedIn Live stream was seeing a different subset of the chat stream. So imagine you're doing a LinkedIn Live session, and let's say you've got 100 chat comments from 15 people. So me as the presenter and the owner of the stream will not necessarily see all 100, and this we discovered the hard way. I might just see maybe 60 of those. Neil is seeing the same stream, and Neil might see 45 comments, which would be a different bunch of 45 comments, and Saeed, who is not the owner of the stream, might see 70 comments, which is a different set of 70. So it boggled our minds as to why that would be true, especially since LinkedIn gives the entire comment stream to third-party platforms like Restream and StreamYard. And Neil, you tested this as well, right? You found something very similar, right?
Yeah, exactly the same. So Martin and I were broadcasting to three different channels, and I was monitoring all three of them just in the browser and just looked at the LinkedIn Live chat. And it was exactly what you said. Everybody's chat was different, so they got a different view, and it was a little bit hit and miss on which chat would actually come through. What we did find is if you did post on the phone on one of the channels that was being broadcast, then you potentially would see that on another LinkedIn. But if you are just multi-broadcasting to these various channels on LinkedIn, the best way we found is to use an aggregator similar to Restream or something like that, where all the comments from all the channels are coming into one separate place like we're seeing now. So I'm hoping we're seeing all the LinkedIn live chat, because I'm seeing at least 3 or 4 coming into this Restream chat right now. So I think that's probably the best way. But yes, it's a quirk, and I don't know why they do that, but it doesn't lend itself well to having a good audience interaction when you're missing half of the audience's interaction, right?
Yep. So Talia, that's the first part of the answer to your question, that there are some challenges with LinkedIn. And the second part is to answer how we would pull in the comments. Neil, if you don't mind, I'll just share screen again this time, just to answer Talia's question. What I would do is go on to LinkedIn Live. Like, this is my LinkedIn Live session. Oh, sorry, I'm the wrong screen here, but just gonna pull it up here. And oops. You'll keep the share on. I'll just pull it up from another screen over here.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
How do you share a screen? There we are. So I'm just sharing my other desktop, which is running the LinkedIn Live session. And StreamAlive has a Chrome extension, which you can see over here. This is a Chrome extension that StreamAlive has. And that Chrome extension, which you can download off the Chrome store, has just one purpose, which is to read the chat in any browser-based scenario. So that Chrome extension can read the chat on LinkedIn Live and send that back to StreamAlive, exactly like StreamAlive does with Zoom or Teams or other platforms. Except I wouldn't do that for the reason we described earlier, which is that LinkedIn Live does not, this chat is not all the chat messages that came through. I'm missing a few messages, but Restream has all of those. So what I would do in that instance is actually go into, let's just go back here. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but it will make sense in a second. So this is our Restream interface here.
There's another thing. Why you're just doing that real quick? Just another point for Talia is that LinkedIn Live, and we've sort of timed this, is around 50 seconds behind in terms of the live stream. So if you're looking for real live audience interaction, there's nothing you can do to speed that up. With YouTube and other channels, there are the low latency things for the chat, but LinkedIn is around sort of 50 seconds. That's a long time from when you ask a question for the audience to participate and then waiting for the answers to come in. So just a point there. Look, sorry.
I'm glad you mentioned that. And it's crazy, right? LinkedIn is 50 seconds and Twitch is about 5 seconds. So that's the range you have. Twitch is the fastest. Yeah. And YouTube is in between, depending on the settings you have for the stream, but you can make it faster, lower quality, slower, higher quality, but that's the range. We're hearing a lot about LinkedIn focusing on videos. So fingers crossed, hopefully some of that love they're showing videos will also translate into live video, which will make things a little better. But here I'm in Restream, which is Neil's favorite multi-streaming platform of choice. It's something we use a lot of as well. And I could run the Chrome extension here, where it would read the chat of the Restream chat and send that back. The good news there is that way it would read the chat coming in from YouTube and Twitch and whichever other platforms you're streaming onto, which interestingly is where we're streaming this one right now. But coming back to how it works in PowerPoint, just like I would connect to a Zoom chat, all I need to do once I have my LinkedIn Live or my Restream open is tell StreamAlive. StreamAlive's Chrome extension tells StreamAlive where it's active. So it tells you that right now there's the Restream that is active and there's a LinkedIn Live that's active. If I say I want to connect to the Restream, it's going to pull that up. We're making some changes on it, so I'm not going to do it live right now, but I could simply say, hey, read this chat, go for it, and start reading responses. And if this was in production right now, it will read that chat and show it inside my PowerPoint slide. So again,
we're only seeing half of your screen. I'm just going to say we're actually just seeing half of it's white and half of it's sour. I'll just let you do that and just tell me when you're ready to.
You need to ask the right questions. Can you see both halves of my screen?
There you go.
We're
can you see my
detailed?
Can you see my bright screen? There you go. That's a very good question that we need to ask.
The answers are only as good as the question you ask. We already had
There you
this.
go. I can see your screen now. There you go.
All right. I'm going to undo what I just did and do it once more to answer the question. So I would click on, I would be back on the screen, and instead of clicking on, say, Zoom or Teams or wherever I want to connect StreamAlive, I would simply say connect to Restream, or if the chat was reliable, I would say LinkedIn Live.
Yeah.
And the Chrome extension will read the chat. It just happens. You don't have to configure anything. It happens like magic in the background. It will read the chat, send the chat back to this. And hopefully we'll demo this in a future session. But for the first time, the LinkedIn Live chat will author a PowerPoint slide. But we need to bear the 50 seconds lag that Neil mentioned. So, give one of those questions where you're going to linger on the answer for a couple of minutes, right?
Exactly.
But you could, that's all you would need to do. I'd say restream, it reads the stream, schedule the session. And if this were working right now, it would just read that restream chat and populate it in here right now.
Yeah, perfect.
Just making some tweaks. Future editions, stay tuned, join us. We will definitely show it live.
Yeah, and Talia said that Google Slides is more intuitive for me when you're on a Mac and don't get PowerPoint for free. Yes, yeah, I always have to buy a license, unfortunately, with Microsoft. And I still own a Microsoft license. I renew it every year. I'm not sure why. I think it's for Outlook more than anything because I don't typically use much of anything else. Maybe Word now and again for documents and things like that. But there he goes. Hey, Daniel, thank you so much for joining. Better late than never. We've still got a few minutes of the show going up at the moment. Anne says, where is the YouTube link for this? Are you referring to the show, or we're actually multi-streaming to various channels at the moment? So there's my channel. I think, Saeed, are you going live to yours as well? No. So we're on the StreamAlive channel, my channel, a few others as well. I think.
But I just shared your channel on the LinkedIn.
Oh, thank you so much.
Chat. For those who want to join us.
Ray was basically saying that LinkedIn Live needs to the video game if they really want to gain watchership away from YouTube. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's a little bit. They have these initiatives, and then they stop the initiatives, and then they add features to the app, and then they take them away with regards to the video. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, a lot of people are still on LinkedIn Live, and we definitely should have another show dedicated to best practices and things on creating videos and stuff. Never mind the fact that LinkedIn has just added some features now where you can mark something as AI slop and things like that. Hopefully they don't mark this video as AI slop. There's no AI characters in this, apart from at the beginning, of course. But yeah, well, I guess we could all share our thoughts on that as well.
I think we should put a big ad, 100% organic, only carbon,
100%,
only carbon
yeah.
life form.
Maybe something like that we need to do. Yes. Anything else you wanted to mention as well, Lux, today?
I just wanted to tell Saeed that he should subscribe to StreamAlive and look for the live tab. So
there you go. Thanks for that, Ray. It's a good point, actually. Yeah, if you're not subscribed, do the liking and subscribing and all those wonderful things. Yeah. Anything else we wanted to touch on? We've got a few minutes left before we get to the top of the hour.
I'm super excited about this new avatar, right? Of bringing StreamAlive and everything we've built over the last few years, bringing it into these different presentation formats and where people present and stream and everything. And I think that's an exciting future because then you're not forcing people to bring their slides in, and we're just seeing time and again that is a big source of friction. And something we discovered in the last couple of days was that with something like Canva, it works beautifully. You just copy a StreamAlive interaction. I got to show you this if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. We've got a couple of minutes. Yeah, of course. When you're ready.
I have a bad habit of recording at any time that is available. So
No, that's fine. You just get yourself ready and let us know when you're done. I can see your screen actually down here anyway, so I can see when you're almost ready.
Fun
Go
fact
ahead.
for you, Neil, who uses like Ecamm, for example, and the Stream Deck. I just figured out recently that Canva has a desktop app. I didn't know that, which makes it way easier to grab the active window. And I think you have at least like next slide, previous slide, and
Yes.
some minor things, but it's way better than if you try to do it in the browser.
Yes, that's
That's
a
why
good point.
why I actually like PowerPoint, because for the geeks it has a real PowerPoint Stream Deck plugin where you can do a lot of things
Right.
which the others unfortunately don't have.
No,
Not
not
that
at
anyone
all.
asked, I was just sharing
No.
Sorry, I thought this is a safe space where we can.
It's a safe space.
share
You
all-
can. We're going to be sharing lots of stuff. It's definitely a safe space. You can do shameless plugs and all kinds of things. Right, go ahead, Lux. This is your screen.
Okay, so I'm just pulling up one interaction. I don't even. Let's say this is home brewing one. So what does it say? In a word. All right. Let's say I want to run this interaction inside of Canva. I'm just going to open this. This is inside the StreamAlive web application. For those not familiar, so I'm in the main StreamAlive application on the browser, and I'm going to copy the interaction link, which I can then embed as it says here in Canva, Gamma, and more. So I'm just going to copy that. Go into Canva, add a new empty page. And all I need to do, and this surprised us with how easy it is with Canva, once support their formats, is just paste. I just did Control V over here.
Oh wow.
And the entire interaction is now inside of, ignore the, we're trying to figure out how to make the format in here. I can go in here. It only works in the full screen mode. So once I'm going here, if I want to interact with it, but it's added.
Lux, I think you're breaking up a little bit. You are for me anyway. I think I can see everybody else is moving smoothly. So Lux, I think you're maybe having a little bit of an internet glitch there. Oh, and he's frozen. We'll just wait until he comes back.
Am I clear now?
Are you back? You're still a little bit frozen in time. We'll just give you a couple of seconds for either the internet to buffer or to catch up, and so on.
It's a bit too much Microsoft bashing, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what's happened. Is he's running all his PowerPoint stuff on a Mac. They know what's happening, and they decided to sabotage his internet. You're back. There you go. I'm not sure if you're sharing too many things at the same time or pulling too much on your internet, but I don't know.
I think I'm showing too many things at the same time. So I'll stop there, and it's probably a sign from the universe that I need to stop showing things.
So we have a show every week that we're going live, of course, and we've got some more stuff coming up as well. But I think you gave me the opportunity to show my little app for a few seconds before we close the show as well. Let me just start this up. So I do appreciate you doing that. So I've just been working a little bit on this app, which basically allows you to capture live chat as we're talking, and then basically put live captions on there. So what we did before we started the show is that I did a little voice capture of each of the guests. And the idea is that you can bring on one guest or up to 4 guests, 5 guests. And basically as we start talking, it's going to visualize and capture the voice in real time and pop it on the screen as a web widget overlay. So if Saeed would like to talk now, hopefully it'll just switch over to Saeed.
Hello, everyone. The most incredible thing that you know that is an awesome tool is my name is spelled correctly. That's just a proof that this thing works. No further question asked.
There you go. So you see, and John,
it's the first time I see like a transcription tool gets my name right. I'm very, very happy.
There you go. And it's also,
and I have to say, this is amazing. This is an incredible opportunity, and particularly for accessibility, because you don't always know who's speaking. Now, Zoom has built in where you could train your voice, and if you're in a group meeting, it will identify it. But that takes a lot of rubbing your head and patting and stuff. This lets you do it for anything that you're doing. So how do we get this app?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Shameless plug, but you can basically scan this QR code if you want. I'm just going to turn off the captions. Right, you can scan the QR code, go to my website. You can download it from there. There's a free trial at the moment. But it also does trigger words. So if I say the word, let me just turn this back on. If I say the word bingo, for example, you can, if I say the word bingo and it recognizes the word bingo, maybe it's not because it's my voice. I've actually turned trigger words off. That's why. There you go. It will come up with the word bingo, and you can actually say StreamAlive and things like that, and it will come up with, captions and bingo and StreamAlive and all kinds of fun stuff. So you can actually put in...
Okay, this is too much fun. Can I play bingo on StreamAlive?
There you go.
Alpaca?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, that one didn't work. Alpaca? No.
No,
Still nothing.
I haven't put the alpacas in yet, but you can put graphics and PNGs and things like that. And if you're trying to plug, I put QR codes in there as well. So if you're trying to plug like a show and you say, make sure you subscribe to StreamAlive, things like that, it's going to pop up and so on. So some fun stuff that I've decided to add. Lots of work gone into it. I'm still playing around with it, but the idea is that it just gives a little bit more of a sort of a live experience to people when they're talking. And Lux, we haven't heard from you. Should be picking you up in that nice pink.
Let's see if my voice comes up now, and it should come up in a second. We should have my name show up there. There it is. And can I say bingo and StreamAlive? StreamAlive.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
This is so cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Feature request, Neil.
Yes.
Can you see, seriously? Can you see my screen pop up every time someone says it? That would be like a really fun thing.
There you go. Just give me the graphic for that, and I can do that because it'll do
I will
words
send
as
it
well
to
as
you.
sentences. Perfect. Well, thank you for allowing me to show that on the show.
QR code again. Who missed it?
Yeah, I'll just put the QR code again, so you can grab the app from there if you want. But thank you so much. It's an experiment. It's a bit of a passion project for me, and thank you so much.
If I don't have a camera to take a picture, what would I search to get to you?
I think it's in the chat as well, so I'll put it in the chat. If you just go to neilfaramond.live, you can find all my apps on that website. So just go to neilfaramond.live, and there you go. Thank you so much, Lux. So what do we have in store for next week? What are you going to surprise us with? I know I'm putting everybody on the spot here, but should we do the show about how to make presentations less boring, or what makes a good presentation, or something like that?
Oh, let's. I think that's a good one. Someone suggested that in the chat, right? Maybe let's do that, and I'll try and get my colleagues to, if they can, to make it work on LinkedIn Live and Restream, so we can actually have a conversation with the audience in PowerPoint on how to make a presentation less boring. So we'll extreme dog fooding, so to speak.
Interesting. Good. We'll do that. And Talia says, if anybody's watching these screens within screens on LinkedIn, it looks much better on YouTube, much higher quality. Interesting. Yeah, because we're actually streaming at 1440p out on YouTube, and LinkedIn, I think, rates it down to 1080p. That's the maximum we can get out of Restream. And Saeed says, wondering if it still picks up captions, you're muted on Zoom. It should be. So wondering if it still picks up captions if you're muted on Zoom. It basically picks up, if you're muted on Zoom, no, it depends, because the audio has to come into the Mac to be able to change the caption. So if you muted on Zoom, it wouldn't come in, you see. So there you go.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure if I'm like muting myself and swearing and other things.
No, you
will
can
not
no,
be shown.
no. That would be really cool. The next iteration is the lip reading app, where it just just picks up from your camera and then tells everybody what you're saying. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks everybody for the show. Lux, Saeed, John, it's always a pleasure. Martin McKenna will be back next week, probably hosting this show. Let's see. But John, you're always welcome. We need a fifth wheel to our cog. We can squeeze you in here somewhere.
I've been at fifth wheel, but I'm glad I was able to be here today, and thank you for letting me participate. And I'm looking forward to next week's show,
Great.
whether I'm here or just listening.
Either way, it's a pleasure. All right, we'll see everybody next week. If you want to hang out in the green room, we'll see you then. Take care. See you soon. Bye.